The Chicago Bulls, without Patrick Beverley, Zach LaVine, and DeMar DeRozan, get a win over the Dallas Mavericks that saw Luka Doncic only play the first quarter. The Bulls also have now locked in their playing opponent. They will be facing the Toronto Raptors Wednesday in the battle versus the 9th and 10th seed. We're going to talk about that, plus dive into the mailbag right after this.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bulls Central, your number one place for all Chicago Bulls news and content.
All right, Bulls fans, welcome to another episode of Chicago Bulls Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related. If you want to follow me, you can do so right off the top at CEO Hayes. That's CEO H-A-I-Z-E. And if you want to follow the show, you can do so at Bulls Central Pod as well. Now, the game last night against the Dallas Mavericks was one of the weirdest games that I have ever watched in my basketball fandom. Like, it was a strange game, fam. I will say this, it was fun to watch, right? Especially the rally that the Bulls had in the third and fourth quarter, and just seeing that team come back and be able to take that lead, and Coby White, Patrick Williams lead the way in the ways that they did. It was fun to watch. It was damn fun game to watch when you kind of separate yourself from it and get out of like the, hey, we have to win every game type mindset and just enjoy the basketball of it all, even though some of the names and players that you saw you may not be familiar with at all. Just for people who enjoy the game of basketball, I would say that was a pretty damn good, fun game to watch. And then when you add into that the fact that, Coby White and Patrick Williams stepped up in the way that they did to really push the Bulls into that victory, especially Coby White. Patrick Williams had a solid game as well. Don't want to overlook it, but Coby White was the one that had the huge impact that was just felt in that game in a different way. And I think the way that Coby White played is really bringing home everything that people have been saying about him, right? The fact that they want to see the Bulls hold on to him, all those things, like Coby White's game in this one, 24 points, 11 assists, 7 rebounds, right? A season high in assists as well. I wanted to see him get that triple-double. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. Patrick Williams as well with 23 points, 8 rebounds, a couple of blocks in there. Nikola Vucevic, who did start for the Bulls and played more minutes than I was expecting. He had another 20-10 game, most consistent Bull of the season. It was just that type of game, right? It was just the game where you watch and you're reminded of just how far Coby White has come with this skill set. And the thing that I want people to remember, right? Whether you were on the side of you wanted to see Coby White traded last season, where a lot of Bulls fans were, and they even came into this season still wanting to see Coby White traded. And if you're on the side of, with IO now, confidence plays a large part with the Bulls. Now, we want to put the win in context, right? It's not like that Coby did this against Luka Doncic. Luka only played one quarter, and it was just like this battle between Coby and Luka. No, they were playing against, the Mavs second string guys as well, right? And it is what it is there. But the fact of the matter is that the confidence of Coby White, I wouldn't have even trusted Coby White to do this a season or two ago, even against a team that wasn't playing, their starters. So Coby White's confidence has helped him, and you've seen that confidence grow every step, every week, every month of the season. Coby White's confidence has grown, and like we've seen with not Luka, whom I think with Laurie now, and him being in Utah, confidence plays a big role in how these players play, how they execute, how they grow their game. Coby White put in the work in the offseason. You can't take that away from Coby White. And the confidence level is there. And you were starting to see his shot, which wasn't going down at a great clip earlier in the season. It's come along as the season's gone on, and it's paid off huge for Coby and the Chicago Bulls. And so the building the confidence is important. It's an important part of sports. It's an important part of life in general, right? Like, just think about in your job. As you get a new job and you gain confidence in it, you then become, more of an expert. You can teach other people, right? Coby White and the growth that he's had this season has been a revelation, not only for his career, but just a reminder of like that promise that came in. Now you have some Bulls fans like, hey, I want to see Coby as our starting point guard next season. That's how much it's flipped. The overall mindset around Coby White has changed from one season to another, and just him improving the things and just becoming a more well-rounded basketball player that he has. And so it's just really good to see Coby White and the growth and the confidence in a player that at one point was kind of looked at as everything wrong with the Chicago Bulls, or the player that didn't need to be here. Coby White has shown like he's couldn't be an important part of the Chicago Bulls' future. And, that's a question that AK and Eversley really have to find an answer to, and a perfect number 2 to re-sign him when it's all said and done this offseason. And I like to see what we're seeing from Coby. Patrick Williams in this game as well, giving really solid defensive performance. 8 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks, stuff in the stat sheet. I already talked about his 23 points. He had a pretty almost quiet first half, but then he came on big in the second half. He actually hit the bucket that put the Bulls up to gave the Bulls the lead. Now he did end up going out in this game. He got stitches, so that's it's not going to be anything that hurts him in the last game or in the play-in. But it's just good to see Patrick Williams is well grown. Ayo Dosunmu, 6 of 14 in this game, 12 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 steal. He did not play a bad game at this at all. And again, we know the level of competition wasn't the same. And then Terry Taylor coming off here, getting key rebounds. He had 3 rebounds in this game, only played 12 minutes, but every one of those rebounds were needed and damn near shifted the energy. You can also see the energy from Dalen Terry, who didn't hit 3 for 10 from the field with only 8 points, but the energy that he brought defensively, going after loose balls, kind of understanding where he needed to try to be at certain times. There were some issues with like pick and roll defense, switching at times. But again, he's a rookie who the head coach has not played a lot during the season, so kind of makes sense that he doesn't have the kind of those things all together. But overall, Carlik Jones got in the game, 15 minutes. He hits 2 threes. Fun game. That just boiled down to. It was a fun game to watch. It was a game that at halftime I did not think the Bulls were going to win that game, but then they just came back, and to see them marching back, scoring 31 points and 30 points in the fourth quarter respectively, while playing pretty solid defense, limiting the Dallas Mavericks to 24 and 21 points in those same quarters. Big game from the one. I'm going to say big game and put it in perspective, but fun game to watch, definitely from the Bulls team. But we now know our playing opponent. It is what it was looking like it was going to be. We will be facing the Toronto Raptors in Toronto on Wednesday in the battle of the 9th and 10th seed. And Billy Donovan's already said this. The biggest challenge that we've had against them is just their size. They play really, really big. They're long and really good. Offensive rebounding team. Collectively, we'll have to do a good job rebounding. And that's 100% what you're going to need to do against the Toronto Raptors. You're going to have to try to attack their length. You're going to have to try to rebound the ball well so you can get out in transition and attack that defense before it sets up. The Bulls are, 2-1 against the Raptors this season. And DeMar DeRozan gets to play. I know people have said he goes back home. That's not DeMar DeRozan's home. DeMar's from Compton. But he gets to go back to Toronto, floor and court and fan base that he's hugely familiar with. And he gets to, see what he can do. Now, DeMar DeRozan's been the 10th seed twice, both times with the San Antonio Spurs. And, they haven't really fared too well. So, I'm sorry. He wasn't on that second San Antonio team because he was here. Duh. But no, he's been the 10th seed before. And it's hard, right? There's been no 10th seed, I talked about it in yesterday's episode, that's ever won a play-in game, much less the play-in tournament. So if the Bulls do end up coming out, which, I have my doubts on, but, I've had my doubts on if the Bulls are even going to make the play-in tournament. So, if the Bulls do end up, making it out the play-in, they'd be making history. Hell, even if they just win one play-in game, they'd be making history as well. And I know some of my, my fellow Bulls content creators, they wanted to see the Bulls lose these last 2 games, but it has increased their lottery chances. And if the Bulls don't make it out the play-in, which, of course, the statistics stack up that the Bulls probably won't make the play-in, but it gives the Bulls a better chance at having that top 4 pick. And even some people, as Jamal at Bulls Central, talked about the Bulls possibly getting win beyond. At the end of the day, it's this. If the Bulls are going to get lucky and get to keep their pick, it's going to take a huge amount of luck to get it. So we're looking at double luck in that case, right? We need to get lucky to fall in the top 4. We need to get lucky and have the ping pong ball hit. We'll have to get lucky to avoid the Orlando Magic from getting the pick. All those things would have to fall for the Bulls. That's a lot of luck to ask for, right? So, we'll see what happens. Overall, the play-in tournament, I want to see the Bulls come out and compete. They're going to have to come out and compete and fight hard. They're going to have to come out and just do what needs to be done and execute on their defensive end. The Bulls need to focus on defense and rebounding first, per Billy Donovan's comments. But then also, and one thing that I need to see Billy Donovan do is you have to coach a good scheme. You have to coach a scheme that tries to attack the Toronto Raptors link. That second game we had against the Toronto Raptors that we won, I like the way that the Bulls attacked the Toronto Raptors and tried to, before they set up their defense and things like that. But now they have Jakob Poeltl, a player that's played damn good against the Chicago Bulls. I think he averages like 18 points, 10 rebounds, and a block on like 65% shooting or something like that. It's really good numbers against the Bulls. So we're going to have to watch out for that as well. The Bulls have a tall test in front of them when it comes to the play-in tournament. And, not to, I don't want to speak negative energy into the Bulls per se, but like, I also have to be realistic. Like, it's going to be tough. It's going to be extremely tough. And every time we've kind of needed this Bulls team to understand the seriousness of the moment, they failed. And so we'll see if they can overcome that and play better in the play-in tournament. We'll break it all down. We'll start previewing that game, during the week and getting hype up for that. And, it's Bulls game. It's post regular season play. So I'm excited to see it, man. And we'll see what it ends up turning into. But enough of me talking. It's Saturday. So that's a mailbag day. Let's get into this first voicemail. This one is from Big O.
Hey, what's up? Hey, it's your boy Big O again, man. I don't know why them little minutes are going by fast, but just to piggyback on what I was saying, yeah, for the fans that don't understand, when it comes to fans like myself who understand the game, understand cap situation, understand the growth of the team, understand that you got to give up something to give up something. That's because I say this guy, you probably need to trade this guy. It ain't because he ain't playing well. Like I'm in the camp of those people that think that, as great as Vooch plays a double machine, but is he the great fit? The greatest fit alongside DeMar DeRozan is Zach LaVine. You know what I mean? He's playing phenomenal. That has nothing to do with what he's playing. You can put 5 superstars on the team together, don't mean they'll win championship. Because the pieces have to fit. But it makes sense. You know what I mean? When I look at DeRozan and LaVine below the average defenders, I think that they need a defensive center. That's just me. That's my opinion. You know what I mean? So it's about fit. It ain't always because I'm trying to trash a player. I know how good Vooch is. But is it moving the needle? You know what I mean? As great as all 3 of these guys is, we're in the 10th seed in the Eastern Conference. And you're going to run it back? Something has to give. If whether it's LaVine, DeRozan, or Vooch. You know what I mean? And unless, like you stated many times before, you change the things around them drastically to where it helps. But you won't know that until they get out on the court and win games. You know what I mean? So, just for the fans that because I know there are fans that say things and people, just assume that means that they're not good at it. No, for me, I can personally say that ain't what I'm saying. Everybody don't grow on the same timeline. Everybody's not going to grow under the same coach and the same system. Wendell Carter is blossoming in Orlando. You know what I mean? Sometimes it takes change for players to grow. It ain't all about them just, sometimes it's, hey, go over there and grow. I mean, you look at the boy from Golden State that went to Detroit. He wasn't going to grow in Golden State. That don't mean Kurt wasn't a good player. It's about fit and situation. So, thanks for
all right, and Big O talks about, DeMar and the pieces and things like that. And here's what I'll say. Vooch can fit, and he's adapted this game. He's the Bull that's had to sacrifice the most of his personal game to make this version of the team work. If the Bulls were to move on from DeMar DeRozan, not necessarily saying they will, if they were, I do think that is depending on who they replace him with, that is a better situation for Nikola Vucevic to come in and kind of do more of his things. If you look at how Vooch gets his points, then where DeMar DeRozan gets his points, it takes, and you just can't pack in the lane. It makes it too easy to defend. So I've talked about this ad nauseum on this channel. So, it does take away from some of Vooch's natural game, but, we'll see. At this point, I really don't know what to predict when it comes to Nikola Vucevic. I don't know if he has enough affinity for this team, the front office, the players, to where he'll stay, or because this may be, in all realism, this may be Nikola Vucevic's last big contract. And he may want to go to a team that he knows he can compete and fight for a title in. And that's every player's right. And we see players start doing that as their career goes on. It becomes more about trying to add those accolades, trying to compete for something meaningful rather than just, being the team that's just battling for a playing spot. So that's the biggest thing. Now, you said the pieces have to fit or change around the big 3 for it to work. Yeah. Is there a coach? Is there a scenario? Is there a roster in which Zach, DeMar, and Vooch work and they have this playoff success and they can win playoff? Yeah, there's a world in which that happens. But the biggest question is can it happen on this team with where we currently sit? Is it going to happen with this coach that we currently have that's going to be here for a while, unfortunately? So all those things play a part in it. We'll end up seeing, man. Look, the story will tell itself. At this point, it kind of just is what it is, and that's kind of my mindset. And I can't wait to see what the Bulls do this offseason. It's going to be a fun offseason. Maybe not draft, but as far as just all the maneuverings and things that can happen and all the different storylines and contracts and things that need to happen for this Bulls team, it's going to give us a lot to cover on the channel this offseason once free agency starts. So we'll take a look at that then. All right, let's get into this next voicemail. This one is from Jamal.
What's up, Hayes? It's your boy Jamal back again. Another voicemail for you. Let's get into it. So, we got our ass beat by the Atlanta Hawks yesterday. We played the Milwaukee Bucks tonight. And we came back in the second half against the game against the Memphis Grizzlies. So when I tell you the team is up and down, I literally mean up and down. The news is we clinched the playoffs. But bad news is that kind of means that we're the upper echelon of the sucky teams, without being the best of the sucky teams. I know we got the Bucks today, and then I think we got one more game. I think we got Dallas on Friday, and I think that's it for us after that. But no, sorry, we got the Pistons on Sunday, and then I think that's it for us. After that, it really begins. And let's see what the Bulls can do in these last 2 games. See if there's any chance they might be able to leapfrog somebody, although I doubt it. And if they can make it to, into the actual playoffs. But only time is going to tell. The team has got to go out there with the mentality that they want it. Nobody else can want it at the end of the day. Y'all worked this hard to get to the play-in, cool. Y'all finished it, that's good. But y'all going to go there and then just flop? Because Toronto has shown they can beat you. Atlanta has shown they can beat you. Miami has shown that they can beat you. Yeah, you've beaten a couple of those teams this year. In fact, I think you have at least a victory against all 3 of them, but let's be honest. It's just one victory. You need one victory when it counts the most. So, it's the regular season. This is the play-in. This is going to the playoffs. This is where you get your money and your name, your legacy is made. So is this time where y'all going to fold or y'all going to fight? That's all I want to know. Because if you ain't trying to fight, you don't need to be wearing these colors. But that's it, man. I just came to random bullshit around. We'll see how tonight goes against the Bucks. And as always, see where it go, Bulls.
Listen, I love what you said there. Fold or fight? That is the biggest question with this Bulls team. This Bulls team has been up and down all season. That's been, inconsistent all season. The play-in is now here. It's eliminate or go home. Are you going to fold or are you going to fight? Are we going to see a Bulls team that competes for all 4 quarters? Or are we going to see that Bulls team that, again, once the team goes out on a run or down the stretch of a game that's tight, that they just fold, right? That's the biggest question, and I wish I had an answer for it. Even with how the Bulls have played since the All-Star break, I think initially in maybe that first 10 games after the All-Star break, I'll say, no, the Bulls are going to fight. But how things have gone, since then, it's like, I really don't know. I have no idea, and part of that's coaching, part of that's on the players, part of that's just on the limitations that we have on this roster by the personnel that we have. There's a lot that goes into that, and man, hey, it's gonna be fun to watch, I guess, and interesting to watch to see. I hope the Bulls do have more fight than fold in them in this play-in series, and it's gonna be important. And we'll see. And AK has already talked about evaluating this. You're gonna be able to tell who you can actually have on your team as big pieces on a playoff team, and who are just role players in a situation that is like this. And so we'll end up seeing. I wish I could say that we're also going to be able to see how a coach can coach, but it doesn't matter. He got his secret extension, so it is what it is. Still, by the way, don't know how many years are on that extension, which is very strange. All right, let's get into this next voicemail. This one's from Melvin D.
What's going on, Hayes? It's your boy Melvin D again, man. I just got finished watching the Locked On Bulls podcast, man, and now y'all see what I'm saying. DeMar DeRozan literally sucks the life out of the team, man. What hot hand? How can anybody have the hot hand with DeMar on the team and he want to take all the shots in the 3rd and 4th quarter? Every time. Coby White was just lighting it up. Boots just lighting it up. But then DeMar want to take shots and he ain't been hitting all game long until the 3rd quarter. That's exactly what I'm saying. If you take DeMar DeRozan out of the equation, you force Billy Donovan to have to make adjustments. He has to. Ain't no save the day DeMar anymore. You know what I'm saying? Other players have to step up. There's not DeMar in their way. They have to do it. So I think the best scenario for the Chicago Bulls, in order for these players to develop, in order for them to move the ball, in order for Vooch to hit his touches, because he's been the most consistent Bull. So I don't understand why y'all not feeding this man. You know what I'm saying? Like, it makes no sense to me that this man will be cooking all half and then 2 shots the whole second half. That is crazy. That is the worst coaching in coach history. Like, I don't understand that. But it's all because your hopes and dreams is banked on DeMar DeRozan saving the day. And he ain't been doing that this year like that. So I don't understand, like, how 1 year, like, he just gets this name like he Coby or something. I don't understand. But I feel like everybody, caught up on that and they just won't let it go. That's not the case for this team this year or anymore. Like, I don't understand why they, harping on that. But let me know your thoughts, man. Hey, man. Y'all have a good night, man.
All right, Melvin is at DeMar's throat. First of all, DeMar sucks the life out the team. Here's what I'll say to that. I understand why you say that. I understand in watching the game and you looking at the possessions. And I will say this. A lot of that is also on Billy Donovan. Only because, and the reason why I say that is we've seen DeMar being a willing facilitator at times on this team. But definitely when he was on the San Antonio Spurs, we saw DeMar being a willing facilitator, and that is because of coaching. When you have a coach that actually has a scheme, that actually has a system, that the players buy into, they trust, all those things, they fit into the required roles more than their natural roles, sometimes better than you would expect. DeMar DeRozan played power forward on that San Antonio Spurs team for a lot, and a facilitating power forward at that. He still got his points and did his thing, but, so it's there in DeMar. The biggest thing is, can the coach it out of him? And so I do think that Billy does rely on DeMar a lot. He relies on DeMar to do so much, and DeMar has become Billy Donovan's safety blanket. And I do think that a different coach, or maybe a change in coaching philosophies, you can see DeMar become more of a facilitator, which would then open up more shots for the young guy. So, and I even gave the stat a couple of episodes ago that, the combination of Patrick Williams, Coby White, and at that time, I can't remember who the other, I think it was Io, played better when they were on the court with DeMar and he was facilitating. So there's some signs that point that DeMar can be that for this team. It's just that, the combination between him, isolation ball, Billy Donovan, it just hasn't gotten it there. So we'll see. I've been saying all season, this team needs some serious changes. And one of those changes could be moving DeMar, taking advantage of a playoff team or a contending team wanting him, recouping some assets back. But it doesn't necessarily mean that's what it's going to be. The Bulls can, if they can find the right combination, unlock other things and use DeMar in different ways. It's just, I don't know if I trust head coach Billy Donovan to do that. All right, let's get into this next voicemail. This one's from Shay.
What's up, Hayes? It's Shay. I know that there's a good chance we might lose Nikola Vucevic, and I know that this person's contract may not fit into our salary, but you ever thought about maybe us trading for Steven Adams? Now, look, I know that Steven Adams is not the offensive specialist that Vooch is, but I feel like he could help the team. And by the looks of that Memphis Grizzlies team, when John Morant went out, he definitely was the leader that kept the team together, and he definitely called out John Morant. So I was thinking, would you ever consider putting Steven Adams on this team? Now, look, I've seen his contract. I know he's making, the next 2 years he's making $12 million, and I get that. But maybe our salary, maybe we could fit his salary in, and maybe he could be the top voices leader that we need. Anyway, tell me what you think.
All right, Shay. So here's the thing. You ask about Steven Adams, and here's the thing I'm going to say that. He's an unrestricted free agent this offseason, so we wouldn't have to trade for him. But the concerns of his health and the declining production that he's had over the last 3 years, it leaves much to be desired. And while, if you sign him as a depth piece, if you do re-sign Vooch, then you can get Steven Adams if Drummond then leaves as a backup, okay, you can make a conversation for that. But we're looking at over the last 3 years, Steven Adams has played, over the last 4 years, he's played less and less games. He went from playing 63 games to 58, and then he stick back up to 75, and then down to 42. And over the course of that production, his points per game has dropped from 10 points to 7 to 6 to 8 this season. And then his field goal percentage has also taken hits, going from 59.2, or 59%, 61%, then back down to 54%, back down to 59%. So here's the thing. Can Steven Adams be still a good player? Yes, absolutely. I'm not in any stretch of the imagination saying Steven Adams is not a bad player, could not bring some things that we need with his skill set to the Chicago Bulls. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is that if you're going to spend money on a free agent, I would like to see you spend money maybe on a younger free agent, maybe on a free agent with more upside, maybe on a free agent that hasn't been declining over the last few seasons as well. Again, I understand your mindset with Steven Adams. I think the leadership he brings, the communication, all those things could definitely help the Chicago Bulls team, a team that does not have those things largely. But then I think you also have to look at the production on the court, and that kind of leaves a lot to be desired in my opinion. But you guys can let me know what you think on that one down below. All right, let's get into this last voicemail for the day. This one is from Auntie.
Yo, hey, is this your Auntie Gone? Look, I'm just not getting in. This is so fucking embarrassing. No, this game was not embarrassing. I love what I seen from our young ones. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right, Big 3. This shit so fucking embarrassing. Ain't no motherfucking way. Motherfucking bitch. Some of these players came from the G League and showed like they had heart, they had soul, and they won this motherfucking game. Hey, Billy, check this out. I got one word for you, Claire. Guess what? I promise you, when we start this motherfucking play-in, bro, and we play Toronto, and you don't see DeMar, Vooch, and Zach doing the fuck they gotta do, Lord knows, help my motherfucking soul. Billy, you better put that motherfucking bench in. Cause what I seen tonight, the shit was embarrassing. No, it wasn't embarrassing towards them and towards the game. It was embarrassing towards our big three. Because this team right here, our bench, half of these players came from the G League. They stepped up. They played like they had soul. They ain't play like they had I don't give a fuck attitude. The Bulls was down with 17 to almost 20 points. These young guys didn't give up. They ran. They played offense. They stopped a lot of stops. Hey, listen, Billy, listen to me. I promise you, if you don't play these motherfucking young kids, if our big three, if our second unit fuck up, if you don't go to that motherfucking bench, bro, your gun throwing ass, we gonna have a motherfucking problem because this not making sense. Ain't no way in hell these guys playing like this and DeMar can play like this for the last 3 games. Knew that we need a 5 games. We need these last 5 games to get above 500. We stuck at 10 seed. Our young guys can't play like they had heart and soul. I don't get it. Listen, bro. Listen, I don't know what y'all gonna do, boys. Hopefully, y'all have a discussion. Fuck a pregame meal. Fuck what y'all doing. Listen, y'all better be focused on this play-in and try to get to this motherfucking postseason. I don't give a fuck what went on tonight, what went on the last 2 games y'all lost. I don't give a fuck. The way the way our young ones just played, y'all better show us some type of aggression. Y'all better show us something. Because if y'all don't, you bitches going home. Ain't no way in here Dayton Terry, PW, Coby White went off like this. And y'all come out playing slow. Y'all better not come out playing slow towards Toronto because y'all know what type of coach they got.
I don't even know there's nothing for me to follow that up with. There's nothing for me to follow it up with. I do hope that Billy does trust the young players a little bit more. And we'll see what happens in the last game on Sunday, last regular season game on Sunday. And, even if the big three do play, I don't expect them to play the full game. So if that happens, again, do the young players still continue to show flashes? Does that build in Billy Donovan's confidence to use them in the playing scenario if DeMar, if Zach, for some reason can't get it going, or just to break up the monotony, right? If you have a team that's starting to pack in the zone, can you bring in Coby White? Can you trust him to hit the shot? A lot of that does fall on head coach Billy Donovan. And so, yes, I would love to see more heart from the big three as well, but keep in mind, the young players coming in, they were young, they were hungry. A lot of them, this was their chance to shine, and Carlik Jones, Terry Taylor, things like that. Even Dalen Terry, who hasn't got a chance to shine. But some of it was uncontrolled. So, more so I want to say this. Even if you don't use them in the play-in, which I can understand if you want to rotation switch in playoff type atmospheres, so I kind of understand that. But we need to see these young players part of the Bulls rotation heavily next season. We need to see that. We have to start building in these young players, and not all of them are going to still stay around, but then we'll still have Justin Lewis back. We need to start building up the confidence and building up these young players, because these are the players that if you do build up, if you do develop correctly, right? If you do those things, it's going to make it easier to fill out. At least you'll have your role players, if nothing else, solved. We need energy guys off the bench. We need players to understand the role. We need players that are going to come in, play with energy regardless. That's what a lot of other teams in the NBA and a lot of losses that we've had to lesser teams, they've just had solid role players that just understand what they need to do, and they play with that energy. So hopefully that comes, and hopefully this is a eye-opening thing for Billy Donovan as well going into next season. And overall, I would say the Bulls front office as well. We still did not see Marko Simonovic, which is still crazy to me, considering what that game didn't mean anything. But hey, we'll end up seeing what happens. But thank you, Auntie. Thank you for everyone who left voicemails. That is it. That is my time for today. Make sure you're following the show at Bulls Central Pod. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, bullcentralpod@gmail.com. Lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail for our mailbag episodes going down tomorrow or any weekend for that matter, and we're going into the offseason, may need you guys on the mailbag even more. 773-270-2799. We are the #1 spot for everything Chicago Bulls related because of you guys. And like I like to end every episode on, Go Bulls. Love you guys. See Red if you can, y'all. Peace.
This has been a presentation of the Breaks Media.